now. So we are a week 2 business math. It is 10/3/2022 and about 7:34 p.m. We are going to go ahead and get started. There's just a couple of things some housekeeping stuff I wanted to help you guys out with, if possible. Did anybody mind the musical interlude before the class started? Okay, what we have here is, oh, wrong one. There we go. Now, when you guys are going into these assignments and you're doing them, I'm gonna go over this again. I said we're gonna do chapter 5 quiz because I'm gonna cover some stuff on chapter 5 quiz today. Remember, there's a request extension button here. If you click that, and then you can tell me what date you want to extend it to, what time, and then shoot me a little note, and then just submit it, and then I will get that. Some people email me and do it. There's a couple of deals with that, which is deals, a couple of things, stuffs. I like to keep track of them. You do it that way, it puts it all on one screen. And the second thing is if you email me and say I need extension on this and that, it's a huge pain in the butt. I've got to go to like 3 different screens and play around with it. But if you do it here, it's like a 2-click button, done. And then when I have 25 people in class and like 20 of them want extensions, I get tired of having to go back through, and do it the hard way. So if you can, please help me out. Also, just a reminder, if you come up on a problem here and say, I don't have no idea what I'm doing, when you click that and say, help, or I tried this, or I'm getting the wrong answer, and you send that, okay, you can exit out, and then, and I'm the way I'm signed in, it may act weird, but then I'll check my messages. It will go right here to me. Ask your teacher. I'll click on it. It'll show me the problem. It even shows me the answer, by the way, and what your message was. So then I can go over here, reply, and give you a nice explanation of it if it needs one. Well, it will need one. I'm gonna have to reply to it anyway. So that is whoops. And then when I respond with no, I will not help you. And then boom, it goes away for me and we're all good. So that's an easy way to get help on each individual problem. Okay. If you need to set up a time for a Zoom meeting or a phone call so we can work things out, a little differently, that's cool too. Just shoot me an email and say, hey, can we set up a Zoom time? Tell me when you're available. I will make myself available for you guys. I'm as much as humanly possible. Right now, I'm kind of traveling in between here in Missouri, so there'll be sometimes I'm not available. Mom has the worst internet ever, so I go and work at the Wi-Fi in McDonald's. So so I'll do that, but I will do all I can to help you guys out. So that's that part. So let's look at some of these. I am going to try to share my screen here. I can only share one screen at a time. So let's look at one like m minus 48 is equal to 12. Bring this over here because I'm right-handed. There we go. All right. There's a little, I can't see you guys. Lost it. No, stop being a jerk there, computer. All right. So it was m minus 48 is equal to 12. Okay, here's what we need to know. And it doesn't matter if it's addition, subtraction, multiplication, divide. So the basic rules are, the first thing is, this m is what's known as a variable. That is a letter used to represent an unknown number. Okay, so it is a number. We just don't know what it is. So we're replacing with an m, which means that letter has to follow the exact same rules as a number would. Okay, so, and when we're trying to solve for these equations, and this is a really simple one here. Our job is to get this m by itself on one side of the equal sign. So at the end, I want it to say m is equal to some value. All right. Now, when we're doing this, we look at what they're doing and we do the exact opposite. So I'm going to rewrite this here. All right. So they're subtracting 48. We want to get that 48 away from that m. We want that m by itself. So I'm going to add 48. Now, the kicker here, the caveat, so minus 48 plus 48, that goes away, becomes 0, right? The kicker is, whatever you do to one side of this equal sign, do the exact same to the other side. Yep. So if I added 48 there, I have to add 48 to the 12. Which gives me what, 60? So at this point, we know that m is equal to 60. Right? Can we prove that? We most certainly can. We take this value for m, we go back to our original equation, and we just put the new value, because now m's no longer a number, m has a value. So that's 60 minus 48. Because like I said, that's our value for m right there, is equal to 12. And we just say, is that a true statement? Well, 60 minus 48 is 12. 12 is indeed equal to 12, which means we got it right. That's just our double check, right? If we would have got anything else besides 12 over here because we'd misadded, fat fingered the calculator, whatever we did, right, then it would have said, let's say it would have said 13 is equal to 12. Well, we know that's not true, so we got to go back here and start all over again and figure out where we went wrong. Okay. Now, the same thing happens whether you're multiplying, dividing. 3x is equal to 12. Okay. That is 3 times x. That's what that means. So if they're multiplying, we divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that leaves me with 1x right here. Do the exact same thing to the other side of the equal sign. So the 3 is 4. We've got the variable by itself on one side, and we know it has an answer. Do we want to check it? We can. We go back to our original equation. That becomes 3 times 4 is equal to 12. 12, doggone thing. 12 is indeed, stop hitting the button, Stephen. Okay, I'm going to lose my mind. 12 is indeed equal to 12. We know we have it's correct. We're good to go. And then we're going to do one more. Addition and subtraction kind of takes care of itself. Multiplication is a thing. let's do a division problem. X divided by 2 is equal to 5. Pull a number out of my hat, right? They're dividing. You've got to multiply. If you multiply that times 2, those 2's go away. Multiply this times 2. X is equal to 10. Okay. Now we're just going to go ahead and plug it back into our original equation. So it's 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5, is equal to 5. Boom. We know we got it right. Okay. Now, they can get a lot more complicated than this, and we're going to see this pretty soon, but this is the basics of it. All right. Those are our basic operations. One thing, remember, you want to get the variable on it by itself on one side. So you have to do whatever that means to make that happen. When the one of the other little things I'm going to tell you is you're going to start with the operation farthest away from the variable on the same side. And then whatever you do on that one side of the equal sign, you do the exact same thing on the other. That's pretty much algebra in a nutshell. Excuse me, it's getting warm in here. I'm going to crank my fan up. All right, so let's look at some more complicated problems. All right, now if we look here, notice I have my Excel spreadsheet up so I can work on that. Let's look at this one. L divided by 5 is equal to 9. I multiply both sides by 5, 45. So L is equal to 45. Okay. And it says check your solution. So you'll have to put in that number there. So we'll say L is equal to 45. Then we place 45 back in the original equation. And then we're going to submit the answer, and it's going to tell us if we're right or wrong. Now, the cool part about the way we have WebAssign set up here is you can check your answers, right? So if you get it wrong, you can just go back and redo it over again up to 5 times. So if you get stuck after like the 3rd time, instead of using up all your 5 times, stop, ask me, I'll come back and help you answer it. Okay. Here's one that's a little more complicated. Let's look at it. Okay, so this one is C divided by 5, or you might hear me say C over 5, C fifths. Could be, you know, there's just so many ways to think about it. Minus 9 is equal to, what we say, 10. I said a little thing earlier, which was start the operations as farthest away from the variable. So that's that, for me, that's at minus 9. So I add 9 to each side. That goes away. That becomes 19. And I am left with C fifths, C over 5. Okay. Multiply. So this becomes a multi-step process. 5 times 20 is 100, minus 5 is 95. So C should be equal to 95. All right. Put it back in our equation. 95 divided by 5 minus 9 should be equal to 10. Now, when we go back and redo this, we have to follow our order of operations. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers our order of operations. It's a little thing called PEMDAS. Okay, which is an acronym. One of them, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, was the one we always used to say. The one I used to use was please excuse my dumb algebra student. And then I had a really morbid student one time that said she used it as please excuse my dead Aunt Sally. Hey, whatever, however you remember it, right? P stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division in the order in which they come, addition and subtraction in the order in which they come. And that's how you solve a problem like this. So the first thing is we have division. 95 divided by 5 is 14. Is that right? Goes in, no, sorry, 24. Goes in 2 times 15. Oh, well, bloody. Complete loss of mind here, guys. All right, so 95 divided by 5, let me just make sure instead of guessing. Okay, that's 1, 19. That makes a lot more sense. So now we're left with 19 minus 9 is equal to 10. 10 is indeed equal to 10, which means we got it right. Okay. Multi-step problem. There's another one, and we're actually doing the problems. Now, some of your numbers may be different. They like to switch numbers up on you. So let's look at time. Let's do one more multi-step problem. So we have a good picture of what we should be doing here. 14 Victor plus 5. You guys can't see it. Bring it. I'm taking it right off the thing here. The screen. Minus 5 Victor is equal to 4 times V plus 15. Now, yep, what you need to know is if you see on the side of the equal sign, you have a V here, you got a V here, and you got V's on the other side. So at some point here, like O said, was you have to get them all together on one side, because that's kind of the point. I can gather these V's up here. 14V minus 5V is actually 9V with that plus 5. And that is equal to, now here's a little thing we call the distributive property. When you have a problem that looks like this, what they're going to tell you is they want you to take this 4 and multiply it individually in everything that's inside that parentheses. So we go 4 times V is 4V. 4 times 15 is 60. Okay. And that goes on to, and we won't get really into linear equations or anything, or quadratic equations, but we used to call this the FOIL method when we had 2 of these. So I'm just giving you extra information. It doesn't really help because I don't know how to shut up. Now, I don't really care which side we put the V's on. Don't care if they're on the right side. Don't care if they're on the left side. It doesn't really matter to me. But what I do is I choose the one that's easier. Okay? Which I'm going to take the smaller number from the biggest number, right? Now, I could do it the other way, and we may just do it the other way here in a minute just for the heck of it to show you that it works. But I can subtract 4V. Okay. Now, that's an understood positive number. There's nothing in front of it. We're going to say it's a positive number. So I'm going to subtract my 4V here again. Because I think I failed to mention, which is, if you notice here, I have 9V and 5 and 4V and 60. I can't add those together. Okay. That V is not going to allow it. I can only take and add, subtract, multiply, divide the numbers with variables together. So 5v plus 5 is equal to 60. Because my 60 remained. That went away and that did its thing. At this point, I'm trying to get v by itself again. I'm working on something as farther. Yep. So I'm going to subtract my 5 here. For adding 5, we're going to subtract 5. That goes away. 5v is equal to 55. They're multiplying. We're going to divide. V is going to be equal to 11. And can we go back and figure that out? Go back to my original equation, because that's where you have to start. And it gets a little complicated. 14 times 11 plus 5 minus 5 times 11 is equal to 4 times, let's say 11 plus 15. So I'm going to simplifying everything in here that I can. Excuse me. First thing here, remember our PEMDAS. I'll write it over here somewhere. PE, right? MDAS. Okay. The first thing you in that order of operations, it says do what's inside the parentheses. And then once you get inside the parentheses, it kind of starts over, but this one's pretty easy. So I'm gonna go 4 times 26 here. Now, could I have done this and that? And most certainly could have. Now we have, next thing we do is exponents. We don't have any. Multiplication and division in which they come, the order in which they come. So that'll be, we'll cheat that. $154 plus 5 minus 55. You rewrite it up here. 154 plus 5 minus 55 is equal to 4 times 26. Let's just go ahead and do that. That'll be 104. So now we got 154 plus 5 and 59 minus 55 is 104. So now we know we've proven to our satisfaction that we got it right. Okay. Now, I also said, and I want to spend an overly long amount of time on this, but, and don't worry, it'll be up. You can relook at this again. I know we're going a little fast. I think I saw Emily taking notes. I also said that we don't care which side of the equal sign we put the V's on. So I'm gonna go back here and do what I did before. 14V minus 5V is 9V plus 5 equal to, do our distributive property again, 4V plus 15. Now I'm gonna move that 9 over. So I'm gonna subtract 9V from each side. And when I said it could get a little ugly, well, that goes away, right? 4V minus 9V, that's going to give you a negative number. We're fine with that, though. It's all cool. And if you have a problem not positive negative numbers, one of the examples I always use is your bank account. If you have $4 in the bank and you write a check for $9, how much money do you have left? Bring that 5 down here. Well, you have a negative $5, right? Because you now owe the bank $5. You've overdrawn your account. And then you probably actually owe them like 50 because unless you have overdraft protection. Now I'm going to take this 15. I'm going to subtract this 15 from each side. Once again, use a money example. I have $5 in the bank. I have 15. That means I have a negative $10 in the bank. Minus 5V. Did I mess something up, guys? Yeah. You look this over. Okay. 14V minus 5V is 9V plus 5 equal to 4V. Oh, that should be 60. I'll do my distributive property. That becomes 60. So I messed up, right? So now I have to subtract 60 from each side. Subtract 60 from each side. Sorry about that. So if I have $5 in the bank and I spend 60, I have negative $55 in the bank and negative 5V. Well, they're multiplying, we're dividing. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. A negative number divided by a negative number is a positive number. So negative 55 divided by 5 is a positive 11, and that's equal to V. So we got there a different way, right? That help you, O? Okay. Yeah, don't do what I did and forget to multiply right here, right? That was a dumb mistake. But we'll see what happens. When I got here, I was like, this doesn't make sense. And if I'd have thrown that back into the original problem, it would not have worked out. It would not have worked out at all. So to really get into this, one of the problems I think Angel asked me about it. Oh, I forgot to ask before I get any farther. Who is iPhone 93? Shaniqua says she's totally confused. Go back and watch it. Holler at me. We'll do our own one-on-one if you need to. Lindsay, okay. I just want to make sure we get you here, Lindsay, and you don't miss your attendance right there. Awesome. Now, let's look at another one. If you got questions, stop me. Just put on the brakes because I will move forward. One of the problems that I think I said Angel got with me, grouping symbols here. Okay. More than one parentheses is confusing. So then they use these brackets and they use these brackets here. So basically on this one, I'm gonna do what's in here and then what's in here. And then I'm gonna do whatever's left that gives me here. And then I'm gonna do whatever's left over here. Okay. So it's just a matter of taking the steps. Given the time, I'd like to move on to something a little more complicated that I know you guys are gonna have a problem with. Where was it? Where was it? Okay, like number 11. It says step and solve an equation for the following business situation. Pit Stop sold $15,934.50 worth of gasoline yesterday. Regular sold for $3.30 a gallon, and premium sold for $3.45 a gallon. That's about right now, isn't it? That's about as accurate as I've ever seen this. Although Walmart today was $3.15. If the station sold 390 more gallons of regular than premium, answer the following questions. How many gallons of regular? How many gallons of premium? And if the profit on regular is 15 cents per gallon and on premium is 18 cents per gallon, what is the station's total profit? Now, I'll tell you, that profit there is a little high. Gas stations don't make that much on a gallon of gas. Maybe they do a little bit more. When I was in the business, these guys were lucky to make a nickel a gallon. So they were putting a whole lot of money at risk for very little money. That's why when you go into a gas station and a convenience store, because it's convenient, right? That's why the sodas and chips and everything else are so much more expensive, because that's where they're making the real profit. The gasoline, not so much. And realize if somebody runs away with a tank full of gas at $3 a gallon, and they're only making 15 cents a gallon, and they say they run away with 10 gallons at $30, how many gallons do they have to sell to make up for that 30 bucks? Right? A couple of hundred. So low reward, high risk in the gas station for the actual fuel part. That's why you pay $7 for a bag of Funyun, whatever it is. So here's our problem. I'm gonna have to get out and go back to the whiteboard to set it up. Not chat, share screen, you knucklehead. There we go. Okay, so yesterday their total sales was 15,934.50. 15,934.50. Okay. The price of regular is equal to $3.30 a gallon, which really, if you remember, they don't do it to us in here because they make it a little more complicated. Whenever you pay for gas, it's like $3.30.9. There's always that 9 at the end, 9/10 of a cent. And then our price for premium is $3.45 a gallon. And they sold 390 more gallons of regular than premium, and they want to know how many gallons of each we sold. So we're looking for an equation to be able to set that up. So let's say we're going to use P to represent premium, all right, as our variable. So we know that we sold P number of premium gallons, right? We also sold an unknown number of regular gallons. We put this down here. So the regular gallons are however many premium gallons we sold plus 390. Can everybody agree that that makes sense? Because we're not working with a two variable equation here. We don't want P's and R's. We just want P's or we just want R's. We're not to the place where we can solve something look like that yet. So my premium gallons plus premium plus 390 is equal to whatever that is. Now we know that regular, or let's go back to premium. Premium sold for $3.45 a gallon. Times premium, right? Plus, now this is where our little distributive property and everything else comes in. Our regular is $3.30 a gallon, And our number of regular gallons are P plus 30, right? And that is equal to 15,934.50. Everybody agree with that? Or anybody who doesn't agree? That's probably easiest thing to say. Anybody doesn't agree? Premium price times that number of gallons, regular price times however many gallons that is, right? Because we agree that R is equal to P plus 30. Okay, I'm gonna move on.
Is it P plus 30 or P plus 390?
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 plus 390.
That's why I
Thank
was
you.
confused. I was totally confused.
Sorry, Shaniqua.
Thank
Who
you.
asked that? Was that you? Oh, good job, man. Good. Hey, I'm a mistake. I'm a mess. What is that Jordan Peterson said in that video we watched last week? You know, why can't you do so? Because you're a mess. Well, yep. So 3.45 times P plus, and once again, we have to do our distributive property. 3.30 times P. 3.30 times 390. I'm going to do that over here. That should be 1,287. Equal to the 15,934.50. Now, once again, this is starting to look like something we just did, right? The hard part was setting it up. This is going to be easy. 345p plus 330p gives us 6.75p. And I'm going to do it a step at a time, because there is no harm in sitting down with your paper here and writing it out just like this. You don't have to skip any steps if you can't. You want to be careful not to make any mistakes. I learned, especially with, I hate this whiteboard because if I feel like I'm not writing on it correctly, but when I was on paper and handing it in back in the old days, man, I listed out each step on every single problem. And the reason I did is because I just want to avoid stupid mistakes, you know, besides 30 and 390. So I'm going to subtract 1287. And guys and gals, using a calculator is not cheating. Okay. That is 100% okay. Don't feel like, oh, I use my calculator, man. No, it's fine. What was that? 15,934.50. Now 34.50 minus, there we go, that's probably my mistake. So that becomes 6.75p is equal to 15. God bless America, man. 15,934.5. There we go. It is equal to 14,647.50. Okay. Divide each side by 6.75. And hopefully the number of gallons of premium we sold would be, and hopefully we get an even number, because we should, the way they set these problems. If we don't, that's probably our clue that we did something wrong. 2,170. So 2,170 is how many gallons of premium? Right? So if premium is that, regular, which is equal to P plus 390, add 390 to that, is 2,000. So premium is 2170. Regular is going to be 2,560. We like that? And it came out nice and even. So if on these problems where you think you should have an even number and you don't, you might want to always look back and go, well, maybe I made a mistake. That doesn't always mean that, but sometimes you're like, oh, okay. Okay, so if the profit margin on
Regular.
the profit on regular is 15 cents per gallon, regular profit is 15 cents a gallon. The premium profit is 18 cents a gallon. They ask you, what is the station's total profit in dollars? That's pretty simple. I take my regular gallons, 2560 times 15 cents. Or am I cutting in? Okay. And then our premium profit is 2170 times 18 cents. So once again, okay, so our profit on our regular is $384. The profit on our premium is $390.60. 60 cents there, 4, 17, so 774.60. All right, and let's just, I'm gonna stop this. So we're gonna go here. All right, and let's just check it out. We said our regular gallons were 2170. No, I'm sorry. It's our premium gallons. And our regular gallons were, we said it was 2560. And our profit was 774.60. Survey says, boom, we got them all right. I think we have time for one more, and this is a real bear of a problem. Is it? I think I need to go to chapter 5 homework. Okay, speaker docs. This is the one Number 9 and 10 are really similar, so let's do number 9. The online store sells 2 types of speaker docks for smartphones. The higher price speaker dock sells for $170 and a lower price speaker dock sells for $80. Last week, the store sold 4 times as many lower price speaker docks as higher price speaker docks. Combined sales totaled 3,430. How many lower price speaker docks did it sell? And so looking for the lower price speaker docks. Let's go here. Clear all that mess out. Right, so the higher price ones are $170. The lower price ones are $80. Okay, so we're going to look for, let's use H as higher price speaker docks. So this is how many speaker docks we sold. And then what they say, 4 times, okay, I was wrong. Let's do it easily. I'll try to make it harder. Okay. L is going to be lower price speaker docks. The higher price speaker docks. Am I reading this right? Hold on. Let me move on. 4 times as many lower price speaker docks as higher price speaker docks. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go back to my original thing. We sell H. L equal to 4H, right? Not where you show your goats, but you know. So we sell this many higher price speaking docks. They said the lower price speaking docks, we sold 4 times as many, so we have 4H. Okay. Now the higher price speaker dock sells for 170. So 170 times H plus the $80 times 4H is going to be equal to 3,430. Good old greenbacks. So now let's do the math. Do 170H. $80 times 4 is 320. H is equal to 3,430. And in my defense, when I did on paper or a regular whiteboard in the class, my writing was much neater. So 178 plus 320H, which is what, 420, 490 H's equal to 3,430. Divide both sides by 490. And if we're looking at number of items sold, our number should be even. If we've got a decimal here, because we can't sell a quarter of a speaker dock or a half of a speaker dock. So if we get something like that, then we know we've messed up. We got to go back to the drawing board. So 3,430 divided by, make sure we get it, divided by 490. Yes, 7. So the number of high price speaker docks is 7. If lower price is equal to 4H, which is equal to 4 times 7, equal to 28. All right, so let's go by and just check it. See if we did it. All right. So how many speaker docks did we, lower price speaker docks? And that's the other thing. let's make sure when we look at these problems, we know what they're asking for. We have to, sometimes we've got to really pay attention. What are they really asking? We just don't want to assume and, throw, we could say, we might think they're asking for a higher price. We throw 7 in, would be wrong. But 28. Yep, and we got it right. Now, number 10 is set up pretty much the same way, except they use regular keyboards and wireless keyboards. Do we want to try that one real quick since we got a few minutes left? Everybody good, or want to go ahead and jump on this number 10? Yep, okay. I remember what I'm trying to share here. All right, we'll clear this out. This is number 10. All right, so it says, suppose a certain company sells regular keyboards for $82. $82 each. And the wireless keyboards for 115. Last week, the store sold 3 times as many regular keyboards as wireless. Okay, so our regular keyboards are equal to 3W, right? 3 times W. And then the total sales is, come on, you, gosh. Total sales is 5,776. All right. Okay. They want to know how many of each type of keyboard. So they're asking for both answers here, which we're going to have to get it in. So let's look at here. 115 times the number of wireless keyboards plus 80 times the number of regular keyboards, because once again, this here is equal to R, is equal to $5,776. We're going to solve for W, 115W plus 240W equal to 5776. Okay. Add my W's together, 240, 340, 355 equal to 5776. Divide each one by 355. W is equal to, and hopefully, let's say we get an even number here. Nope, I sure don't. Okay, plus 5776 divided by,
Is it the 80? Is it supposed to be 82?
see, there you go. Is it supposed to be 82? It is 82. And I'm looking at it and you remember it without even seeing it.
I was sitting here looking like I think that's wrong, but I didn't. I'm sorry.
You got, yeah, no, you don't be sorry. You got to call me on it.
Okay.
Okay, 82 times 3 is 240, 246 this time, right? Which changes this to 361. I'm doing something terribly wrong here. Just gonna come over to the side and we're gonna try to fix whatever goofball mistake I keep making. All right, so 115 for the wireless plus 82 times 3W. So let me make sure I did that right. Plus 82 times 3, 246. Okay. 115 W plus 246 W. So 115. $361. Okay. 61 W should be equal to, make sure I get this number right, 5776. Okay. $16. Okay. So W is going to be equal to 16. The regular keyboards, which is equal to 3W, is equal to 48. So let's test our theory here. Regular keyboards are 348. And $116, couldn't remember the number. And submit our answer. Hey, Maggie. Nope. What did we get wrong?
Where did you get 348 at?
3 times 116.
Where did you get 116 from?
Did I get the number wrong? Let me look here. See,
It was 16.
oh, 16. Jeez Louise.
This happened to me. I was trying to type on some other question and I was keep mistyping.
All right, let's try this again. Not 116 and 348, just 16 and 48. Submit answer. I bet we got ding, 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 ding. Yep, there we go. We're right. All right, all right. Even with all my hardships here, not being able to remember what numbers and what goes on, I think we did just fine. Maggie, where you at, Maggie? You are down here at the bottom.
Oh, now I am on the bottom. Oh yeah, of course, my lesson is starting with
It's
letter S.
I would say it's in alphabetical order, not just because you were late. So, okay. So we're going to officially end the class here. So whoever needs to leave can leave. Anybody wants to stick around can stick around. So I'm going to say no more recording. Stop the share. Stop the recording.